Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Honey, I'm
Yes.
going to show you a trick.
Okay, show me a trick.
See the penny?
I see the penny.
I'll put this bottle of water right on top of the penny.
Okay,
And I'm going to put this over it.
okay.
And when I say the magic words,
Yeah,
the penny's going to go inside the bottle.
really?
Yes.
Okay, let me see this happen.
Okay. Now I got the towel. Boogie boogie.
Boogity, boogity.
Boogity boogity.
Boogity, boogity.
Okay. Now you look down in there and the penny's inside the bottle.
Oh!
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Happy Saturday to each of you. I don't know what is wrong with my voice. I woke up this morning and I feel fine, but my voice is almost gone and I have not been talking that much. I've been texting. We've been watching the Alex Murdaugh trial, but for the most part, I really haven't been speaking. So I wake up this morning at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I am, going through because I woke up, right? I went to bed after Alex Murdaugh. I was so exhausted. I ended up going to sleep. I went to bed and went to sleep. That's about how exhausted I was yesterday. And so I wake up at like 1:30 this morning. I'm wide awake, and I'm looking through all of the stuff, on the internet, through Messenger, things that people are sending me. And I come across, Bryan Kohberger's post about this whole gag order, because while the news organizations are saying we're not even going to fight with the judge, we're just going to go above her head and have the higher courts rule on this matter. However, Steve Gonzalez's attorney is actually petitioning the local court and saying, hey, you're violating my First Amendment right. I'm not a witness to this crime. They're trying to allege he could be called as a witness, but I'm not sure that the testimony he can provide would be so substantial that he has to be a part of the gag order. He wasn't there during the murders. He doesn't know who Bryan Kohberger is. He literally has no information that would possibly sway a verdict of guilty or innocence in this matter. I mean, I just can't imagine that his testimony would sway the judge, the jury, or the state or the defense one way or the other. I mean, he would be able to give a victim impact statement. He would be able to testify on his daughter's mental capacity, or whether she was in fear that he knew of because she was staying at the house. But other than that, there's not a whole lot. So I got up this morning, I was doing a video, and I started talking, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with my voice. I don't know what's wrong with my voice. Good morning, everybody that's in here. I saw you as you guys were coming in, and we were putting your comments up in chat. Karen Davis, the first to say good morning to Coffee Club and crew. So it's nice to see each and every one of you guys here. Saturday, usually I start a little later, but being up at 1 o'clock this morning, I've done as much as I'm going to be able to do before the live, before we start the live, right? Melly Joe, it's nice to see you. Let me just go through some of the people. There's not a whole lot of people in here right now that I can't take some time and say hi to you personally. So Karen Davis, good morning. Crazy Cat Lady, Lunch Lady, good morning. Brandy 221. By the way, Brandy, thank you so much for the gift membership that you have purchased. I believe it's a few. My mods are now starting to send me stuff in my mod chat to let me know, because I don't see it on this side of the screen, but wanted to give you a personal thank you for all your love and support of the Bullhorn Betty channel. Daisy Chain, nice to see you. Amanda Elizabeth, Donna Lindquist, Southern Granny Wolf, thank you for your contribution as well. I got that. And it has not been used yet. I'm taking it out of the package today. I promise it will be used. It's to be honest with you, that extension cord was one of the most important things that I personally thought I had ordered it because I needed it so bad. I didn't realize I had put it on my wish list. So I appreciate that. Great minds, right? Patricia Miller, Tenzi, Nana of 7, Tammy Sue, Texaholic, Sweetie Pie, Roberts girl, nice to see you. Miss Jones, happy Saturday. Julie, Rhonda, Pen 1010, nice to see you in here. Monique, Dixie, Kentucky girl, Wolf Tracks, Sonia, it's nice to have you here this morning, as always. Cindy Lewis, I think I've already said hi to you. Kathy Blanks, nice to see you. Angel, nice to see you. Manda, and I think there's a few more. M&M, Mystified, Sepsis, good morning, Love Bug. I think everybody else I've got. Wind and Whim Designs. Thank you. I don't know why I'm struggling this morning, but I am. Jessa Love. Fire and Ice, I see you in here. Good morning, love. Who else do we have? I think everybody else I have said hi to this morning. Melly Joe, William, Shannon, nice to see you, Wild Cherry. Tammy Moss, one of our newest members. Barbara Tatum, it's nice to see you. Micah. Kimberly, Stephanie, Crazy Texan Truth Seeker, love that. Donna Fisher, or Deanna Fisher rather, Skipper D. Oh, I like that's cute. Karen Klein and Susan. It's nice to see you guys all here, and we were able to get through that fairly quickly. So this morning, after I woke up at 1 o'clock and I started seeing these, excuse me. Give me just a second. Let me clear out the pipe. Not sure what's going on. I know I started drinking some creamer in my coffee yesterday, and I think that's what's causing the congestion. I think somebody heard it the other day coming in. But I've been struggling with allergies for a little minute, and then of course going out of Florida into North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and then Pennsylvania. It's really been bothering me. And now that I'm back here in Florida, I thought I was fine, but apparently I'm still having some allergy issues this morning. At the end of the day, at 1 o'clock this morning, I'm out here looking at this stuff, and I come across Brian Enton's post, and it's basically has the two pleadings, the two memorandums of law, one coming from the prosecution, one coming from the defense, both agreeing that the gag order needs to stay in place as is. Both. The problem I'm having, there's two main problems I'm having. Why are these pleadings being distributed around the internet, and why can't I see them? Who's sending these out to who? To whom, I should say. Where are they coming from? They are court documents. So I'm very curious how some news organizations are privy to these documents and other news organizations are not. That is one of my my complaints here. Because I went on there, it's an iCourt document. You can see it's coming from iCourt, but when I go to look for Bryan Kohberger's case, the case is removed. So how are they getting these documents? How are they getting out? I don't know. I really don't. So that's my first thing. My second thing is we're having some major issues here. We have people saying that what law enforcement is saying is not accurate. We have news organizations that, like Ashley Banfield, that are apparently going to, some of these small channels and picking up stories and running with the stories as if they're true, without corroborating the information, without verifying the people are who they say they are. They are running with these stories. We found two for Ashley Banfield. Prior to that, we found 3 to 5 articles from People magazine that could not possibly be true. So these are the things that are really starting to irritate me, to say the least. And we're going to go through another portion of this video from Dylan Mortensen's alleged friend. I want to give the disclaimer that we have no earthly idea if this person is who they say they are. We have no idea whether the information that they are stating in their video is even true. We have no earthly idea. I'm not going to say I have groundbreaking information on a case when I don't. I understand that, News Nation and other other media conglomerates have bills to pay and have lights to keep on, but at what cost? I'm not willing to throw my integrity out the window for a click and a view. Now, that's just me. One of the reasons why I don't really care for Ashley Banfield. However, we have just Samantha that has been doing some deep diving into these statements that are being made by media. And she's doing some really good work at uncovering where the media is deriving their information from. And then I go to look at it and I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? Did Ashley Banfield literally just pull this story from this no name that doesn't even have the proper, header on letterhead, right? Doesn't even have proper letterhead. And Ashley Banfield just ran with a story. Subsequently, we ran with a story. And it's of the one of Bryan Kohberger being terminated from school. Is it true? Is it not true? I don't know. Because we rely heavily on mainstream media to do actual fact-based checking. And to me, it appears they are not. And then we have the defense and the prosecution. I have never in my life seen this much gross behavior from the judicial branch, to be honest with you. It is very disturbing. Now, I realize that they have a case to protect. People have been able to protect high-profile cases for years before this case happened without putting such a harsh gag order on the case. Okay? This ain't the first high-profile case in this country going on, but yet we have never seen a gag order quite like this. So it makes me wonder, and I keep going back to that statement that Steve Gonsalves said to me and Olivia when he said, I hope they have the right guy. I would like to see what information they have. And I've always, Donna, that's not true. You obviously do not know the law. I am a real reporter as well. Okay? Whether you like it or not, the way the Constitution is written, and you're going to say, oh, she can lie to the people because she's a real reporter. Does that sound like a real reporter to you? Okay. Moving on. And I will tell you right now, here's the rules of the chat. The rules of this chat is you can have your opinions. You can state your opinions. You must say them respectfully. You cannot be insulting to me, the people of this chat, or other creators. We don't mind. We love healthy debate. But I took that statement very offensively. And I was almost considering throwing you out of here, but I'm not going to. Because I'm going to let you freely speak. And if you got something to say, I suggest you start saying it now so we can go ahead and address it before we get too packed up in here. We'll go ahead and address your issue or your chip on your shoulder and move on. Good morning, Crime Stories. Nice to see you, love. So at the end of the day, what is a real reporter? What is freedom of press to you, Deanna? What do you think that is? Do you know what place it is in the Constitution of Idaho? I do. Do you know where it is in the Constitution of the United States? I do. I know where it's located in the Constitution of Florida. So, so if I'm the problem here, let me help you with that. I mean, I don't have to be your problem. There you go. Problem solved. Good day. Healthy debate is always welcome. Good morning, Vicky. Nice to see you, love bug. And thank you so much, Wild Cherry, as well. So, this is why people, and it keeps coming back to me. And do you know that Packingham versus North Carolina, the Supreme Court ruled on that case, which stated that we have freedom of speech here on social media, and social media is the public square. Do you know what that means? That means we are media. That ruling just happened in 2017. Look it up for those that don't know. Packingham versus North Carolina. Our justices in the Supreme Court has ruled on that. So The issue that we have here is I'm having a problem with why some news organization are privy to information as opposed to that's a constitutional issue. And the other one is related to the freedom of speech and freedom of press related to this case. And then the third, it's an important factor, but not one I can take to weigh. And it's the fact that there are some people coming out in Dylan Mortensen's defense saying, hey, she was not, how was it put? That she was not concerned. But I would also like, which reminds me, I need to find out Jennifer Coffendorfer. Hold on, let me find Jennifer Coffendorfer. She kind of, I think, really kind of explained it the best. And I think it really helped identify this. Let me find it real quick. Here it is. So let me just go ahead and share my screen and we'll go over these documents. Let me see what and our rule here is mean what you say what you mean, but don't say it mean. And cops try to prove their testimony by leading the witness in false statements. And now her lawyer is freaking the F out, which makes sense. I've been saying this for months. But you know what, William? In all fairness, listen to this. In all fairness, I know for a fact I've tried to get a hold of her. I tried to give her a platform to tell her truth. And here's the problem. Law enforcement constantly tells the victims and not necessarily victims, but witnesses not to talk to anybody, not to do this. So you are very reliant on that law enforcement body. If you don't get your story out, in some cases, it can be twisted and manipulated. Now, do I believe that law enforcement would do that? In my heart and soul, I do not believe that law enforcement would do that. I mean, it doesn't make sense for them to want to arrest Bryan Kohberger. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense unless evidence led them that direction. But just like every other body, we have rules that regulate what we can and cannot do. As a private citizen, that is the Constitution and the laws of your area. For police, that is the Constitution and the laws in their area. They're held by the same standard that the rest of us are. Whether people want to admit it, acknowledge it, or otherwise, that is the way it works. That's the way it's supposed to work. But here we got some conflicting things, and it makes me very uncomfortable that we're having such a fight to have transparency in a case like this. And that's the problem I'm having, is they're failing to be transparent to the public. It doesn't give me a warm, fuzzy feeling. And quite frankly, I don't think it rises to legal muster. I think that the higher courts are going to rule that it's unconstitutional because it's too broad. It's entirely too broad and vague, for that matter. You can't have something that's broad and vague. She can specify what documents have to be withheld, what statements have to be withheld. You can't just say that everybody that's associated that could potentially be called as a witness cannot say a boo. I mean, we didn't even get that in Alec Murdaugh's case, for the love of God. There is a gag order. There was a gag order. I did a video on the gag order, but it wasn't all encompassing like this. So I'm having some uncomfortability, some major uncomfortable feelings as to why everybody's trying to kick the public out of this case. This is a public trial. We should be privy to the types of requests that are going out during discovery, just like we were with Alex Murdaugh. We should be able to have, if we have witness testimony or affidavits that need to be gagged from the public, then do that on a limited basis. But to kick the entire public out of the entire docket, out of the entire process up to trial, I don't think there's legal standing for that. I really don't. I'm interested in my legal counterparts stepping up and discussing and deliberating the merits of this gag order and whether they feel it would survive the Idaho Supreme Court. But from where I stand and what I've read, I think it's too broad. And I think they're going to have to limit that. They're going to have to use specificity instead of a broad brush. So again, just, not feeling so comfortable about this. Thank you for all your hard work on these cases. Oh, you're welcome, Mandy May. Thank you. God bless you. Much nicer than somebody saying they have a problem with me first thing in the morning. If you wake up at 7 o'clock on a Saturday and the first thing is piss and vinegar, you probably need to go fix yourself. I'm just saying. It's probably not everybody else. It's probably just you. Normal people wake up in decent moods, and it takes a real jackass to make them get in a bad mood, right? But even with all that, look at me. I'm still happy. They don't affect me. They once did. But, we're seasoned now. We've been through the ringer. Everything they do is just stupid. I mean, it's literally childish and stupid. You want to see what childish behavior is? Go look at some of the adults on YouTube. When you're wondering why the kids of this day and age are going crazy, go look at the parents that are raising those kids on YouTube. It makes you a little sick to your stomach, to be honest with you. Ruining children, ruining their lives. And they're going to be all so very angry because their mommy and daddy are so very angry all the time. It's time to drink some coffee, that's for sure. I woke up at 1 full of piss and vinegar and created some art. There you go. Hey. Positive outlet, right? Positive outlet. See, that's what I'm talking about. But you changed your tune, you changed your scenery, you changed something that made you feel better. So that's what I'm talking about. Imagine being in a 12 person unbiased jury deliberating about this. Yeah, this should be interesting. But at the end of the day, we do have rights in this country, and that's what these court systems are. And I believe them. I believe it so much so that I wanted to learn more about it, and that's why I went to college, right? I still believe in the system, but as a professional, I know that it's not perfect. I know that these things aren't perfect. I would rather it not go to the Supreme Court of Idaho to set precedent on something like this, and I would rather her just modify her court order to appease the media, appease the families, and appease both parties, the state and the defense. There's a happy medium in here that we can all at least stipulate to and make this a little bit easier and more friendly than what we're doing right now. I personally am one of those legal professionals that know that going to the Supreme Court about everything is not always a good thing. It's just not. It creates law. And that's the unintended effect of going to the state Supreme Court. That precedent will become, pretty much a rule from that point forward. And I don't want to prevent another judge from being able to make a stronger gag order because of something the higher court said they can't do because, these 30 news outlets is pushing it in an appellate court. And so those are the things that are just kind of weighing on my mind. Granted, I don't live in Idaho, and these things won't really affect me outside of this case. And I do believe that the higher court is going to be more reasonable than this one judge. But I would hope that she modifies the order in such a way that they don't have to move forward in the Supreme Court of that state. Well, she limited it, you know what I'm saying, limited the gag order to around March 1st. So, I mean, in all fairness, we have about another, 20 days, less than 20 days before March 1st. But what she did is she hooked it onto the investigators' investigation time. So it was limited in timing. It just wasn't limited in scope. So it seems like now that everybody's fighting this and finally taking it to the Supreme Court and all this other stuff, the gag order itself, it's going to be a moot point by the time it gets there. Unless they still want to argue the fact that judges can't do this and get that ruling for future cases in Idaho. That could very well be possible. But by the time I feel that this is going to be brought before the judge, it's almost going to be a moot point, because the gag order really was only in place until, my understanding, until March 1st, or until the investigation, the police investigation, has been concluded. That is what I heard when we were talking about this gag order, because I remember the judge looking at the the state and saying, how long is it going to take you to get the investigation complete? And they told them, hopefully by March 1st. What did Cody say? I think this may be bigger than we realize. I think so too. There's something going on here. I'm telling you, I don't know why I feel that way in my gut. I feel like there's something more going on here. I agree with you, Cody, because again, this is a very broad gag order. I don't know how, this is a small county. They're used to getting away with whatever the hell they want to get away from or get away with, because they're such a small county. However, the issue is you might be able to get away with that, but you're talking about a national case that is high profile. And why I don't believe Mascow, Idaho has ever dealt with this. They're not realizing the limitations of their own state constitution. That's really what I really believe. And that in and of itself makes me very uncomfortable with this judge. Because that to me makes me feel like you're doing one of two things. You're either ignorant to your own constitution, which I don't believe this judge is, or you're used to skirting the law. And again, something I frown upon, especially in our judicial system. I am used to politicians. Granted, most of these judges are appointed by their peers. They have to be voted into office. But I'm used to this kind of conduct, skirting the law and finding ways to manipulate the law, kind of like what No Charge Hadley did in Chatham County. I'm used to that coming from politicians and working with police chiefs. That's one of the reasons why I love my county sheriff so much. He doesn't play in skirting the law. He doesn't play in this area. He enforces the law as it is in our state and in our county. That's what he does. He doesn't try to find a way to get around it, to scoot around it, to go sideways with it, or anything like that. He works in the confines of his duties and the laws that we have. Does he have some deputies that sometimes? Yes, and he has to address that on a person-by-person basis. So I expect it from our political arm. I expect it from the people that are in politics. Oh, thank you, lunch lady, for being the newest member of this crazy place we call the coffee club, which reminds me, I probably need to check my, check my mod squad, make sure I'm not missing anything. Actually, let me turn my ringer on so I can hear it when it pops in. So at any rate, if it's not ignorance and it is her skirting the law, I have a big problem with whether she's going to be a good judge to oversee this. Because if she's allowing already, violations of law to happen to the public and the lack of transparency, it makes me wonder what else she's going to be willing to do. And as a legal professional, it makes me very uncomfortable. Now, I believe she's, highly educated. That's why I don't believe it's ignorance. She works in this world, and I think she's pushing the envelope a little too much for the benefit of this case. And I understand that there's a lot of things, but you can't violate the law. If you violate the law yourself, you're no different than the people you are overseeing. You are no different than the people that are coming before your courts with these crimes. That's how I feel about people violating other people's rights. I don't care if you're a judge. I don't care if you're a police officer. I don't care if you're a politician. I don't care. Whenever you start violating people's rights, I have a big problem with it, because those are the one thing that are equal to us all. And if you can't even respect that, then why should I respect you? That's the way I feel about it. So here, let's just go over a couple little things that I found. Let me pull this up. Hopefully we don't have any videos, because I don't want to go through that. That's a pain in the butt. Okay. So here's I don't know if I can make this bigger or not. Can I make it bigger? Let me see what I can do here. So here is what, let me take this banner off so we can see the whole thing. There we go. So here is what the discussion group in the University of Idaho case group, this was done yesterday, and it says Banfield exclusive report tonight. Source who spoke to DM. They have never confirmed that. Never confirmed that this source even spoke to DM. It's only alleged that this person has spoke to Dylan. But according to this, it says mistook the noises she was hearing, yelled to her roommate saying, quiet down, thinking it was her roommate still being loud. Within minutes, more noise. Opens doors, and then and that's when she sees BK coming toward her. Didn't think any other than BK was a friend or someone. Closed her door, locked it, and went to sleep. They're saying it doesn't jive with the probable cause affidavit. We've all heard this before. So Jennifer Coffendorfer's statement is said the bedrock of the probable cause affidavit. DM's interview likely entails long recordings, pages of typed written account. The probable cause affidavit extracted a few details from the ROI FD 302. Remember I told you yesterday when we were talking about this that I can't imagine that Brett Payne would just arbitrarily throw words in her mouth and a statement under oath to for the arrest record or for the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. Like they could get this whole case thrown out if Brett Payne is lying, because this is going directly to the probable cause affidavit for arrest of Bryan Kohberger. So she says DM exited her room 3 times. The first, she was likely fussing, but by the third time, we know she was petrified. So these statements that we're hearing in these discussion groups are conjectured. They can't be taken as true. Because again, like Jennifer Coffendorfer is stating, these interviews that DM had were most likely recorded and typed up. And I guarantee they most likely have transcripts of the recordings. Much like Alec Murdaugh, when he was talking to the SLED agents in the car. We watched that interview happen while his son and wife lay dead just feet from him. They were in the car. Remember, we had the SLED agent in the driver's seat, Alex Murdaugh in the front passenger seat. Behind Alex Murdaugh was the Colleton County Sheriff Liaison. And next to her behind the driver's seat was Danny Henderson, Alex Murdaugh's private attorney, personal attorney. And they were recording the entire conversation. And both of those agents still had to go onto the stand and state what they heard in that video, in their interview with him. Even though we had it all recorded, they still had to confirm that was them. This was the recording. Everything that you see there is accurate and correct to even enter it into the court document. So I'm really having a hard time struggling with the fact that all these people are saying this statement from law enforcement is wrong. But we have lack of transparency coming from the judiciary. And with that being the case, how do we freaking know? We're entitled to certain things as they proceed through this process. Now, granted, we can't stick our nose in it. We can't interview witnesses. We can't do any of that, nor do I want to. But we do have the right to the pleadings, the motions, the court dates, and other items that are on that docket. But I can't even find the docket. It has been unpublished to the public. Which brings me back to Steve Gonsalves saying, I hope they found the right person. Me too. Me too. So I don't know where we're going to be with this, but I also wanted to go over, maybe I can, maybe I can't. Let me pull this back just a tad. Come on. All right. I already had that up. Okay. So here comes to Bryan Enton's post. The prosecution in Bryan Kohberger's case filed a motion to keep the gag order in place. They are responding to victim Kaylee Gonsalves' lawyer asking judge to allow him to speak. Prosecutors argue attorney has special access to information through his client and the gag order should apply. They're assuming he hasn't. From what we know, law enforcement stopped talking to him very early on in this case because he was trying to find out what happened to his daughter, and they pretty much cut off all communications. Remember? We talked to Steve. He was upset that he wasn't getting any information about his daughter's case. So I disagree with the prosecution. And here's the arguments. We have both the defense, which is here, public defender, and Taylor. Public defender and Taylor, right? Objecting to motion to appeal, amend, and or clarify non-dissemination order. And she talks about how the court order is not violating Mr. Gray's First Amendment rights. In this memorandum in support of the motion for appeal and clarification of amendment non-dissemination order, here and after memorandum, Mr. Gray contends that because his client, the Gonsalves family, are classified as non-party citizens, application of the court's non-dissemination order to him constitutes a prior restraint on his right to free speech under the First Amendment. In support of his position, Mr. Gray cites fair trial and public disclosure. That pesky thing nobody believes exists. It does. It does. So, provision. Okay, so Mr. Gray cites fair trial and public disclosure provision of the ABA Standards for Criminal Justice, IRCP 36, as well as the precedent established by Shepard versus Maxwell. And it cites that, and that's Nebraska Press Association versus Stewart. He cites that. And Gentile versus State Bar of Nevada, 501 U.S. 1030, 1991. And that's very good. I mean, he's establishing older, because he's wanting to show that this has been well established for many, many years. The issue at hand may be summarized as follows: whether the application of a non-dissemination order to an attorney representing the family of an alleged murder victim constitutes an intolerable prior restraint on speech. I would contend it does. So the First Amendment prohibits laws abridging the freedom of speech, while the Sixth guarantees, and let me just explain this. There's a reason why these things are in order. The First Amendment versus the Sixth Amendment. What do you think holds more weight, the First Amendment or the Sixth Amendment? It's the First Amendment. The First Amendment holds more weight as opposed to the Sixth. While the Sixth guarantees criminal defense the right to speedy and public trial by impartial jury. U.S. Constitution Amendment 1(4), occasionally in conflict where protected pretrial expression threatens the impartiality of the jury. There's nothing that threatens the impartiality of the jury. Nothing. Because if they can move the case, they can get a new venue, which many people do in a case like this because our public knowledge overrides they have other remedies to the impartial jury that's less restrictive to the public. They have other remedies. And that's the problem here. They can't use the harshest remedy as their standing. They have to use less restricted remedies before they go for the big, taking everybody's rights away from them. They have to use I don't know how to explain it in simple terms, but they can't go to the most aggressive remedy when they have lesser aggressive remedies to use and utilize. And they do, such as change of venue, such as bringing jurors in from other counties or surrounding counties. There is a way to find an impartial jury. This has been going on for hundreds of years in this country. This is not the first high-profile case. Yet all of them have allowed transparency. So I have a problem even with the defense's argument in this. But that's not the only thing here. It's not just this. It's also the state. The state. Memorandum of points and authorized relating to the non-dissemination order. So they are also trying to prevent this. And I don't care if both freaking attorneys agree to it. I don't care. I don't care if both of the attorneys and the judge agrees with it. It does not bode well with our constitutional rights. It just doesn't. And I really believe that this judge, it's not about whether the state and the defense agree. It's what is in law as to what they can do. And quite frankly, I don't think their arguments rise to legal muster. I think the appellate court will, without a doubt, send this back down to the lower court for revision. I truly believe that. If it has to go there, I truly 100% in my heart and soul believe that the appellate court will side with the freedom of speech and side that this order is entirely overbroad and entirely too vague and must be made with more specificity. And it would be sent back down to the lower courts with instructions. So this is where my contention lies. So now that we're done with that, I'm going to open up the phone lines because I know that a lot of people in here care. I'm not screaming. I speak loud. I'm deaf in one ear. I'm a person with disabilities. You do know what ADA is, right? I know maybe you don't know, but I don't hear well. I don't hear well at all. I'm a completely deaf in my right ear. So I hope you feel like an asshole, because you should. And guys, anybody that's in here that's being disrespectful, like I literally don't have the time for it. I want them blocked and booted from the chat. I don't have time. We're talking about real cases here. I could care less about somebody's petty personality problems, especially their petty personality problems with me. Pick a number, stand in line, get the hell out of my chat. And occasionally I get it wrong, right? Occasionally I get it wrong. I think somebody's being snarky when they're not. So there is that possibility, but today probably wouldn't be your day because it's Saturday. I've worked 7 days. I haven't had a day off in months. You know? If it's too loud, turn your volume down. Thank you, Joan. What a reasonable solution to the problem. What a reasonable solution to the problem. I appreciate you speaking up because I'm hard of hearing. Thank you, Jenny Lou. You're almost the most well-spoken creator I know. Thank you. Thank you. She wasn't disrespectful. She asked why she was screaming. I'm not screaming. This is screaming! Right? Right? I mean, that would be screaming. This is my inside voice. So you guys keep that up. You guys will be kicked. I don't care. This is my channel. You don't like how things are coming out? Why don't you go find a channel you do? Why be here in my freaking chat? Just curious. Kick Natasha out and kick whoever. Actually, I'll just take care of it. Like I said, when I say something, you really don't want to argue with me. I mean, you really don't. You don't need to be part of this conversation. But we're definitely are not going to, I'm not going to sit here and be disrespected in my own chat. You get off your ass and go to work for a solid month without a day off from 4 a.m. to almost 11 o'clock at night. You do that. You do that for a solid month, then you can come here and talk to me. But you won't because you're lazy. Made it a point, right? I mean, what's yelling? Right? I can scream. Love it, Betty. Well, I mean, you're telling me I'm screaming, and let me show you what my screams look like, so you can make sure that you identify when I'm screaming and when I'm not. Well, you probably just did because I just screamed. Yeah, why not? Why not? It's just gaslighters in here. They probably haven't even slept. They've probably been up with their crack pipe all night. Who knows? Who knows? So let me play. Okay, hold on. You know what? I think it's time. We haven't seen this one in a while. Let's play it. Let's play a video.
Andrea, aka Bullhorn Betty here. Look what I found. It looks like a lot of people on YouTube. Right here. Right here. This is a real ass right here. Like many people on YouTube. All you need to do is show an asshole a little love. Right? Right? Tell him. What you need to do? What you need to do? Huh? What you need to do? Oh, too many assholes on YouTube. Say it. Say it with me, baby. Say there's just too many people. Too many people on YouTube that look like you, huh? So the next time you want to be an ass, maybe you should come out here and hang out with the ass. Just saying. You want to be a jackass? There's your brother. Peace out. Bullhorn Betty style.
So we had to dust that one off. We haven't seen that one in a while. Thank you, Wild Cherry. Thank you. Exactly. They act like they rule my roost. No, there's nobody that rules this roost. That's why you guys love me. Nobody rules this roost but Bullhorn Betty. Occasionally, I'll take some suggestions. Occasionally. I know. Yeah, and you know what? I gotta tell you that jackass did love me. That jackass loves some Bullhorn Betty. Followed me all around. Every time I walked, that darn thing just walked. That little donkey just kept walking with me. And I'm like, yeah, you got it right. I seem to attract you all. Oh, Lord. We have too much fun here. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. If it gets too checky, I mean, we'll open up the panel. I've got so many people blocked on here. I mean, we got an idea of when these animals come on here. So if we do get a troll on here, just laugh it off because this is their life. This is the best it's going to be for them. Sad, quite sad. Did I see that? Oh, thank you. I got two up there, Wild Cherry. So thank you. God bless you. So really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out, what my channel thinks about this. What do you think? Some of you guys are some legal scholars, have some knowledge in the law. Some of you guys don't have any knowledge in the law. But just on your problem solving, how do you guys feel? That's really what I want to know. Do you guys feel like this will pass? I mean, I'm wondering because I'm looking at the timing and it's like, why is everybody filing this stuff, now? They should have filed this stuff back in January so it would be heard, and they're not, right? So I'm wondering why now? Like, it's going to take at least 10 days to get this before, an emergency one, but this is not an emergency one. And so I'm wondering we're blocked from the docket. We're blocked from the stinking docket. So when is this motion going before? Hold on. When is this motion going before the court? We won't know. This is Betty.
Hey, Mab.
Hey, Mab. I saw you all looking fly the other day on Dolly Vision's channel. What's up with that?
I was just playing
That was fun.
until he said I looked like his older brother, and I felt bad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it
ain't
sounds
had-
like he's doing better though. He hasn't really called me, but I've been checking in on him, and I guess he turns his phone off quite a bit. So occasionally, like every couple days, he'll just say I'm doing good. So I'm happy with that. Just at least as long as he's kicking.
Yeah. I've had 2 hours sleep so far.
Are you in pain? Is that what's going on? Or are you just not sleeping well?
No, it's just my face. I can't sleep.
Mm.
I worked my ass off yesterday on the inheritance we got from my wife, mudding, trying to get it fixed up for rental.
Yeah,
And
I saw some of the house in the background. It's nice. It's nice. It's better than this shit can I live in. But I'm only a quarter mile from the beach, so I'll deal with it.
I'm 2 miles from the beach.
Yeah, nice.
And I got mountain lions walking through my driveway.
Oh, that would be a sight. I would. Next time you see that, snap.
Send you the video.
Yeah, send the video. Yeah, send the video over. I'll play it. That'll be interesting. Well, yeah, I probably won't get online because I don't want to show people your community, but I would like to see it.
Oh, you can't tell where it is.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Ring video.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would like to see that. That would be a sight for the eyes.
How do I send it in?
Just send it to bullhornbetty@gmail.com or send it through to Messenger.
Okay, I'll send you that. I'll send it to your email.
Yeah. If it's too large to send it by email, just go to my Messenger.
No, it's small.
Okay.
It's almost 5. I'm supposed to go work my ass off tomorrow too.
I'll be driving. I'll be working on Monday. I'll be working in the heat on Monday.
I'm going to send you that video and then I'm going to hit the hay.
Yeah. So what do you think? You're kind of in with all this stuff. So what do you think about this? Do you think that both the state and defense are saying we want a gag order in place? I don't agree. I agree that there needs to be a gag order.
I agree that there needs to be a gag order. You don't want this guy to go free.
But their thing is they're hooking it onto an impartial jury. There's enough remedies in law to find you an impartial jury, i.e., moving the venue. Whether they want to move it or not, that is a less restrictive option for them.
They're not going to move the venue.
They may be required to.
Because they already have Ann Taylor.
But Ann Taylor's a district.
If they move it to Boise, then Ann Taylor wouldn't be.
That would be too far away. Typically, when they move the venue, they move it in the district. So you usually have 3 or 4 counties that make up the district. They just move it to a different county. They don't move it all the way to the top of the state or the bottom of the state. They keep it centrally located.
I think everybody around there has heard about this case.
Well, I'm sure they have. But it's not about hearing about it. Hearing about it doesn't sway the... See, what's asked in voir dire is whether what they've heard would keep them from being an unbiased juror, not being a...
Yeah, they need to get some old ladies and some guys who don't watch the internet and use those people.
Yeah. But there is, think about it. If they can find an impartial jury in Colleton County for Alex Murdaugh, certainly, and Colleton County's small, certainly they can find an impartial jury in Latah County.
I agree. And
they did have a gag order in the Alex Murdaugh trial. They did. but it wasn't this widespread.
Yeah, this is a worldwide case.
And so my issue here is like we type in Bryan Kohberger, say I want to pull up the docket and find out, when they're going to have this motion hearing on these, the non-dissemination order. When are they going to take that when is that going to be heard? And I can't find that from the courts where I am supposed to, where the public record is, where I am supposed to, as the public, to go to find that information. I'm not able to find.
They're worried about, especially with DM, they're worried about him walking.
Yeah, and I can understand that. But do you think it should be all encompassing that the public is absolutely taken away from the docket, everything that's listed? It's not giving you access to the documents. The docket is just telling you where you are in the case. It's a very limited in nature.
And Ashley Banfield is going down. I mean, she is sources. Come on.
Right. I never really liked her. Because she stood outside of Brian Laundrie's house and basically accused our group of planting evidence in a thing without she never
really.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was Gabby's water bottle. Even Nerdy Addict even came after us saying that we planted it. He's apologized to us for that because he got information that proved we did not plant that water bottle. But since this is the thing I have with reporters, when you have a story and you're supposed to be reaching out to all parties. So you're supposed to be like, law enforcement is saying, oh, this is insignificant, we have no stuff. So you reach out to law enforcement and say, hey, we heard that a water bottle was found. And they say, oh, no. Well, we went on Twitter and the FBI ended up demanding us go down there and give them the water bottle because law enforcement would refuse to collect it, by the way.
Talking about the
Gabby Petito. Yeah. And so when we were out there, law enforcement, they refused to collect it. We're like, hey, you guys need to take this in with you. They refused to. And then they go on social media and say there was no significant things found. And we started bitching on Twitter saying that's a lie. We found this water bottle. We know it's Gabby's. We couldn't find it when we were out there. But when we were able to get internet, we searched and searched and searched, and there was 2 photos with that specific water bottle in them with Gabby. And so law enforcement ended up having us take it and drop it off at Northport Police Department, which it was sent to the FBI. But we're sitting out there, out in front of the house, and Ashley Banfield is going on about how this is insignificant, how there was no water bottle found, and this, that, and the other, and then has had the audacity to say that it was most likely planted. And it's like, we're right here behind you. Why didn't you ask us about it? We're right here. We can give a statement for ourselves.
Ashley Banfield is catching hell.
Good. She should.
She should.
She should. She's a horrible, in my opinion, she's a horrible reporter. She's a horrible commentator.
I agree. Unnamed sources. Come on.
Yeah. And that's the same crap that People Magazine was pulling when they sold 5 different stories about a source close to the a law enforcement source close to the investigation.
That's illegal.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I'm like,
there's
no law enforcement.
Should be fired.
Yeah. If you had a pension, let me ask you this. If you had a pension, you had a retirement, are you going to throw all that away and sully your name for a People Magazine article that your name is not even going to go in? Like, I don't see anybody willing to put their neck out there that much.
I think they're paying them. They
may be paying them, but how much can you possibly be paid to be willing to lose your job and all your benefits? That officer would never be hired again with those kinds of allegations.
Yeah. I think in the Gabby Petito case, that LE is going to lose their ass.
Yeah, and Gabby Petito, they lied to the public. They lied to the public, period.
Well, lied to the public in the Idaho 4, too.
Oh yeah, they did. But what they
They're
lied
allowed
about
to
is it
do
took
that.
us so
They're
much.
allowed to do that.
Yeah. It took us so much time going out there and walking through that, but they came up there trying to explain, oh, the reason why it took us so long to find Bryan laundry is because we had water up to our chest. No, you didn't. We were out there in
Bullshit.
Myakkahatchee walking.
It was freaking ankle deep, if any.
Yeah.
And they show all these pictures of, ATVs going through, water and all this bullshit.
And the water, they made it, they actually, this news organization, we replicated that video of the ATV with the water. We thought it was a boat in the water, and we looked down and it was an ATV tire. And so we were able to angle our camera and get the same kind of splashing, so it looked like it was really, really deep. And I'm like,
Yeah.
they like did special
Yeah, it's
editing.
1 foot deep. It's 1 foot deep.
Yeah. It
We just
wasn't even
had
a
floods
foot
in
deep in the area.
California, and I went through a 1 foot deep road, flood. And if you videoed it, it looked like it would have been 3 feet deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Mab. Well, you go get some rest, and we'll chat tomorrow. Well, actually, yeah, I'll be doing a live first thing in the morning tomorrow, and then that'll be it until Tuesday.
I'm going to be working my ass off on that place.
Yeah, I'm almost considering I might be shutting the channel down just for a week or two while I put a roof on my house, because I may end up having to do the damn roof myself at the cost I'm getting.
I just put a roof on my house. I'm looking at 30 grand plus.
The roofs are getting
I got a guy,
expensive.
Sam Kennedy, he used to be a 49er. See, I was in intellectual property paralegal for 17 years.
Really?
So we have a lot of the same legal
background.
minds.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for the most part, I get a lot of the stuff that I'm explaining accurate. I mean, I don't go and look at the laws in each state. I probably should, but because I don't work for the attorney, you don't have LexisNexis, you don't have Westlaw, which I'm proficient in. You have nothing. You gotta.
Is expensive.
It is. So the only thing I'm able to do is go up to my law library, where I can look through books. Yay! Back to the old school.
But I got connections at the USPTO, and I can find I have my own account there, and I have a private pair. You probably don't know what that is, but I'm in a fight with a company that I was working for. I was vice president of intellectual property. And 1 month after my surgery, they were banging me for information. I said, quit calling me, and I'll get you information. And they kept banging on me, can I come to your house tomorrow? I said, hell no. And I said, I retire. I had all the information. I had all the data. I got them by the balls. So there's supposed to be an auction on March 4th, and Samsung's supposed to make an offer, and they owe me like 150 grand.
That's not enough. Take the third offer.
Take any offer.
Take the third offer. I'm gonna say too low. I never take the first offer ever provided. Ever.
But listen, this portfolio has gone to shit. It's all abandoned. Now they're scrambling to get it back from abandonment, and they're asking me for information because I have it on a private pair.
Yeah.
I'm stacking up bills. What's the 145 grand?
Wow.
Plus, I had a AI Zoom invention that I did that they're going to have to pay me another 300 grand for.
Nice. Yeah, that had automated it, and What is it? Something intelligence, automated intelligence. Is that what AI is? Something like
I presume. So it's like, yeah, you remember the CNN guy that was doing his thing on the call, got fired. So I have an invention to where you can verify their IP address when you send the invitation.
Nice.
And if it doesn't match, then they don't get in.
Gotcha.
And they can tell if you're trying to get in with the VPN or not.
You need to send that over to YouTube.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, the AI, you need to send that over where they can't get into the system without having matching IP address and prevent all these hundreds of.
Oh yeah, I already have the patent. No, I don't have the patent yet. I got a patent. We, the company, had a patent, and then we did a CIP, which I invented, which is more valuable than the first one.
Right.
So after, and they didn't put that in the portfolio that they're selling. So if they want to start another company, they're going to have to pay me off.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
All right, I'm going to bed.
All right, Mab, you take care and God bless.
All right, Betty, bye.
Bye-bye. Our beloved Mab investigates. Another great person I always liked talking to. I like talking to all you guys, but some people, I just have more of an intellectual conversation with. So he's one of those people. Amy M is another one that talks about, the medical side of things. She every time we have some dispute over certain aspects medically, she's able to provide her insight on that, which is always nice. But for the most part, we have to find the majority of the information we do ourselves, and we have to look into it and all that stuff ourselves. So I really do have a problem with all of this stuff that is going on behind the scenes here in not here in Latah County, I'm in Florida, but there in Latah County. And I'm very interested in, and I hope that, I'm hoping that the judge modifies the order and it makes the appeals moot. And I'm hoping that that's the case, because again, it sounds great on its face that you want a higher court to rule on this, but the more that the higher courts rule, the more legal precedent is made. And that does hinder other cases in the future. Whereas she can modify the order, keep it out of the higher courts, keep the laws intact as they are today, not create any new legal precedent or law, because legal precedent really kind of dictates law. And I really, really would like that, because I have always been limiting the law, limiting the scope. And as a legal professional, I just don't want to see this unnecessarily going to an appellate court, if that makes sense. The gag order is causing too much speculation. I agree, Amy. I agree 100%. It causes entirely too much speculation. And not only that, it's unnecessary. If you're trying to protect the case, you can do that on a limited basis. This is too wide. This is too overreaching. This is too all-encompassing. This is not in the spirit of the law related to gag orders. It just isn't. When you're removing an entire docket and the public is completely unaware of when even a motion hearing is going forward in the case that they are allowed to attend, you're blocking that. That to me, it spits in the face of the legal process. It just does. It just does. I don't care how you look at it. If the public can't even be apprised of an actual court hearing that they are entitled to be at, there I have the hugest problem of it all. And that's the case that we're at right now. There is no docket. We even have memorandums of law being out here in the public square, and I am curious as to where they came from. I am curious as to where they came from. Are these people having to make these record requests on a daily basis because they're being excluded from something as simple as the docket? So come Monday, I'll have some extra time on my hands. Well, actually, I won't, not on Monday. It'll probably be Wednesday. By Wednesday, I'm going to, hopefully there's some changes in this case where I won't have to make the call, but I am going to have to make a call down to the courthouse. I'm going to have to find out what the process is of requesting documents and court records. And if we need to fly back to Idaho to throw a temper tantrum, then that's exactly what I plan to do. I throw good temper tantrums, you know, but I will. I don't want to. But I want to show them that the chaos that they are going to create with, you know, skirting the law. I don't know what else to do, but I can do that. So with that, guys, I know we are, and I'm going through some other rules and stuff here. Let me see if there's anything else that I have. Oh, I do have something else. Oh my gosh. OMG. So yesterday, and many of you guys aren't paying attention. I get it. You guys are not really plugged in or tuned in to Alex Murdaugh case. I get it. I get it. For me, it's a very interesting case. It's a high profile case. It just has all the bells and whistles to this case, from the power, prestige, you know, the family name, the legacy, the money, the laundering, the drugs, the fall from grace, the murders. It just has this all encompassing, I don't even know what I'm saying, but it's just, it has all of it. It has all of it. And so it's a very interesting case for me. And so I've been opening it up, which I don't do typically. We don't usually run trials on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Usually they have the trials. We talk about them daily, but we very rarely ever run the full trials on this channel. Very rarely. I think this might be the first one that we have run on the Bullhorn Betty channel to this extent. But what I like about it, but speculation doesn't come from gag orders. It's about humans who lack the self-control. I'm done with you, Hinged. I'm done. Find another way to get back into this chat. I don't care. You're blocked. I'm tired of the yeah, sorry, but no, thank you. That was kind of the final straw with Unhinged. I can deal with so much, but no, when you start being disrespectful, we go over these rules every single day, just about. You're an adult, act like it. If you can't, you don't need to be here. Go to a hate channel. They probably will respect your responses a little bit more. It has nothing to do with that. The bottom line is we're entitled to it by law. Okay, we're entitled to it by law. So if you're for the law, then you're for the law. You can't pick and choose which laws you want to apply to a specific case. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. But, and it has nothing to do with self-control either. We're entitled to it. We have a right to it. And you know what? At the end of the day, we even have a right to speculate over it. There's nothing illegal about any of that. But what is illegal is having a public trial that the public's not a privy to. Sorry. That's how it works. Whatever. Build another channel, and you can come back in here under another name. But Unhinged, I'm tired. You argue literally about everything, and I get you have a different perspective, but the disrespect is too much for me. You want to come in here and say your piece. Many people don't agree 100% with this, and they're not getting blocked because they're being respectful. But it does cause too much speculation, in my opinion. And it does. I agree 100% with Amy M. I do. And I don't know where I went before I went on that tangent, but it's irritating. Like, these people, you guys want to come in here and talk, and many of you guys like to banter back and forth and talk about your speculation and stuff like that, and you're more than welcome to. People like having chats. They don't like being treated like garbage because they have an opinion. And saying that it's a self-control issue, Well, clearly, Unhinged, you have a self-control issue because you don't know how to follow the rules in this chat, which is governed by your self-control, by the way. Just thought I'd throw that out there. So I think, but let me get back to Alex Murdaugh. Alex Murdaugh, his case, again, very public, very national and international, because this is a family that held the solicitor, which is the prosecutor, the person that's suing the state, right? That it right now is taking Alex Murdaugh to court. The prosecutor's office is the solicitor in the Low Country, South Carolina. Their family has been in power as the solicitor, as the prosecutor for over 100 years. Now seeing Alec, it makes me wonder how many times have they broken the law, and because they were in power, they were the state that sues people, that holds people accountable criminally and otherwise. They've been in power for 100 years. How many of that 100 years were they doing dirty? Right? I can tell you people are over it, though, because from the testimony we heard, the family was being 86th, right? They were the scarlet letter. You wanted to stay away from the Murdaughs all of a sudden. Everybody, prior to that boat accident, Murdaugh's name was synonymous to power. You wanted them representing you. You wanted everything. You wanted. But yesterday we learned about the cell towers, about how they utilize cell phones and overlay those cell phones on cell towers, how they can tell the range and the direction you are from the cell towers, why the cell towers are triangle. It was a very educational experience. And a lot of people, we had about, I don't know, anywhere between 170 to 200 people, a lot shorter than our normal, coffee club gathering. But those people, I mean, it was really interesting. It was nerdy type of interesting, but interesting nonetheless. 99 years and 6 months. Yeah, I know Murdaugh is, but Waters hasn't proven anything. I agree. It's not about, this is beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not about showing Alec with the gun in his hand. It's about showing the jury that no one else would have had the gun in their hand. Now, granted, we have a lot of people that still have left to go. First of all, I think that the caregivers, the caregiver for Miss Libby, Miss Shelley, I believe her testimony was very powerful. Here's why: because it explained what he was wearing when he was over there that night. There's shoes that are missing from his property. There's the shoes that he wore around the house, as well as the shoes he wore over there that are missing. They found none of the shirts he wore that day, except that white shirt. So the shirt that he went to work in, the seafoam green color shirt, polo shirt that he put his blazer over, was never found. The shirt, when he was out there at that floppy tree, that shirt has never been recovered. He came into the house with a tarp-like thing carrying something under the tarp, which is believed to be the gun. They found a jacket that was of tarp material, the vinyl that she thought she saw him wearing. It stuffed in the back of a closet, wrapped all up in a tiny little ball that had tested on the interior of that jacket. Interior, inside the jacket. Nobody wears their jacket inside out. Inside the interior of that jacket, the stuff that's on your skin. When you put your jacket on, the inside of that touches your clothes and skin, it's the vinyl on the outside. So when the rain rains, it repels the rain. But the inside of that jacket had so many gunshot primer residue, the molten of the gunpowder. It was so high they had to stop counting. And this is a blue jacket, a blue vinyl type of covering over something Alec carried into the home. And that was recovered. And it had a lot of gunshot primer residue in it, which is the molten. So much so they had to quit counting. That was very powerful. They talked about Shelley having to modify how long he was there because he was only there 15, 20 minutes. And he said he was there 30 to 40 minutes. But what I found odd is the other caretaker for Miss Libby was there the night before. And him and Maggie go over to the house the night before and stay there 30 to 40 minutes while the father slept. They weren't there for anything other than to give the father Krispy Kreme donuts. Mama Bullhorn. Yes, ma'am.
You forgot to turn your phone lines back on.
I turned them off because I'm going to be winding down my thing. But what is your comments?
I had another epiphany yesterday watching the trial. Okay. Alec and Maggie went to see Grandpa Randolph the day before on their way back from Charlotte. The football game or basketball game or baseball game or whatever it was at the University of South Carolina. And what if Alec took the gun then from his daddy's or guns, and Maggie witnessed him taking those guns, and those are the ones he used to kill them because she knew too much.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually had the epiphany because I saw the other lady that was there, the other housekeeper. And my thing was, they went over there that night. He needed to set an alibi. I think this was planned. And I think he needed to set an alibi. I think he was surprised that Shelley was there the night that he came over there with the blue tarp. I think he was going to go over there while that other lady there, much older, deaf, and I think she was going to play this card of, oh, she just mixed up the days. I was there for 30 or 40 minutes.
Right.
But he was surprised that Miss Shelley was there. That's what I believe.
The alibis are out the window. But you nailed it. The FBI agent who triangulated all the movement of the phones, and somebody said, I forget, it was on the News Nation. It was when they broke for lunch. The talking heads. I don't really like to watch them, but I clicked on it just at the very end, and one of them commented about the fact that one of the in the very beginning, the movement of Maggie's phone, first of all, it went from portrait to landscape. And then it went 58 steps. Well, it took 58 steps to get to his truck. Then he powered it off.
Yeah.
And then he drove back down the driveway on his way to his mother's house, his alibi, and he tossed it out the window. And somebody says, can you toss something out the window and it go out the window? And
I remember that.
I think one of the witnesses even said, I'm 6'4". I could certainly
reach across
something out the window of my car because, I'm 6'4".
Yeah. And I can tell you, somebody like me would have to chuck it because I got small arms. I'm a small, petite woman. But somebody like Alex Murdaugh, that's a very large, like I didn't realize how large he was until he stood literally before me getting out of the van.
Yes.
He is a big guy.
And he was even bigger. He was 100 pounds heavier then than he is now. So, yeah. It's,
so
I think it was his housekeeper that said, oh, she was so damning, that he was, 2X, 3X?
2XL.
So, yeah. And, the fact that the shower had been used. I can't believe that Sled did not take those clothes.
But I think they made a lot of crucial mistakes. I don't think so far what I've heard is not crucial mistakes enough but those clothes, but at that point she had already said she picked them up and if I'm correct, took them down to the laundry room. But I don't know if she washed them. But either way, there was some anomalies there. One being, even Alec Murdaugh didn't seem to know that his wife didn't sleep with undergarments. And there was her pajamas.
Underwear.
Yeah, with underwear in the washroom on the floor, which was, who would lay out their clothes like that? And she even stated as much as it appeared that Maggie's clothes was outside of or were somewhere upstairs in the master bedroom, but the wet towel and khakis were in the closet, but not the shirt and not the shoes, only the khaki pants.
Right, and.
But what did you think about the last?
Check them for gunshot. The gunshot residue primer.
Yeah.
But anyways, the fact that when she got there, Maggie's pajamas were in the doorway of the laundry room just dropped. Now, also, the biggest mistake they made was they allowed all those people to go in and out of that house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a crime scene, for God's sake. They should have locked it down.
But we have to remember we're dealing with the Murdaughs. That's the problem is we're dealing with the Murdaughs, and they have been a privy to special privileges for over 100 years.
Yeah. But that was all I have to say today. Anyways, I'm absent-minded. I've only had like 3 sips of my first cup of coffee. I was up all night and I finally fell asleep.
I got up at like 2 o'clock and tried to lay back down, but that didn't work because next thing I know, it's 3:21. So clearly I just tossed and turned in bed for an hour and I finally just said the hell with it and got up.
Yeah. So, anyways. I love you.
I love you too, Ma. Take care.
I'll call in.
Don't forget, Wednesday, figure it out. We're going to go to lunch.
Okay.
All right.
I'll send out a message to everybody, okay?
All right, Ma. Love you.
I love you. Bye.
All right, Mama Bullhorn. So her perspective, she's not quite coffeed up yet. She's like me. We need a gallon of freaking caffeine to even get our engines revved up. So I'm sitting here, but yeah, let's see. What does it say? Simple facts. Alec insinuated to both Shelley and Bianca about the 40 minutes at his mother's, about the t-shirt he had on that day is very concerning. Why insinuate? Exactly. So what people are hearing, like there's just some people that just have to have the person with the gun in their hand. And I'm sorry, when it comes to the law, you don't need to have that. You only need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that nobody else could have had that. If we could see him with the gun in his hands, believe me, that's 90% of the cases of conviction, 90% of them are circumstantial evidence. It doesn't mean they didn't do it. But who has cameras on them? Who wears body cameras to go commit a crime? That's why the beyond a reasonable doubt is so important. It's not as low as by the preponderance of evidence. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. So, that is a much higher threshold. But when you don't have the photo with the guy with the gun in his hand, you have to show the judge and jury that nobody else could have had the gun in their hand at the time. And that's what we're dealing with right now, is people are like, well, they haven't proved their case. They are proving it. Believe me, they are proving their case. Now, with that being said, we're only on the state side. After the state rests, the defense is able to bring their expert witness to contradict the expert witnesses of the state. And so the part that the jury has to decide, did the state, one, prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt? And if they did, do they believe the defense or the state? Because just because they prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt doesn't mean that's a slam dunk, that means that he's guilty. It just means that they did prove their case. But the defense is allowed to contradict that. And the jury has to take the state, the defense, and make the decision. So somewhere between what the state says and what the defense says is the truth. And they got to decide what it is. I think that they're doing a great job setting the foundation and showing right now that there was nobody else out there at that property. That's the one thing that has been driven home, that the people out at that property were Maggie, Paul, and Alec. 3 people. 2 of those 3 people are dead. That's what they're proving so far. That's with the Snapchat video. That's with the video down there at the kennels where you can clearly hear Alec Murdaugh's voice in the background. Those are all establishing that he was there when he told law enforcement he was not. That's a problem. Said he hadn't seen his son and his wife. Yes, he did. That's a problem. He said he was wearing that t-shirt. No, he wasn't. We have 2 different shirts that have disappeared. That's a problem. We have 2 pairs of shoes that 2 different people saw him wearing that are gone. That is a problem. Never seen again. And then we have the FBI showing us about these phones and where they were going and following the travels of Alec to Alameda and from Alameda back to the house. That's damaging evidence, in my opinion. Again, proving that only 3 people were at that property. Him and 2 other people being dead. So I realize we don't have a photo with him and the gun, with him with his hands on the gun and shooting them, but they are painting a very good picture that nobody else could have been there to do this crime. And that's exactly what they need to do. Just saying. Remember, they did the black box all around there. They know exactly what cell phones in and around that area were working at the time. Gunpowder primer residue on Alec's hands, on his shirt, in a jacket that a witness saw him carrying in as a blue vinyl rolled up thing, carrying something inside of it. This is very damaging. To me, they are doing and working this case and presenting this case properly. Does the jury have to be 100% to agree to convict? Yeah, you have to have a unanimous, otherwise it's considered deadlocked. You can have one jury withhold a guilty verdict and it'll be deadlocked. You can have one juror withhold an innocent verdict and it'll be deadlocked. Either way you do it. They may have 11 jurors in there that believes he's guilty and that one juror that doesn't, can deadlock the case. And it's the same as true. There could be 11 people that believe he's not guilty, that he's innocent. And it could be that one person withholding their vote causing the deadlock. So deadlock can go either way, whether it's for Alec or against Alec when they deliberate in the jury chambers. So yeah, must be unanimous. Absolutely. Must be unanimous. I have a funny feeling that one of the jurors is going to be stepping down here in the next week. Here's why. Because one of the jurors during voir dire said that they could be, available, but they can only be available for 3 weeks. That after 3 weeks, it would really cause issues with them with relation to their job. Last week, that juror stepped aside and spoke to the judge and reminded the judge that he could only, be a juror for 3 weeks. So I have a funny feeling, since one, he was a jury, told them before this happened that he could only be there 3 weeks, and then it'll start jeopardizing, his livelihood. They can't force you to be a juror if it's going to affect your livelihood, where you can't pay your bills. They can't do that to you. So I have a funny feeling that juror is going to be stepping down in this next week. And if you guys recall, we have 18 people in that jury, 18 people. So we have 12 jurors and 6 alternates. And the alternates have to be present every day of the trial. They can't miss a day either, because of something like this, where if one of the jurors got COVID, they're down for 10 days. They can't come into that courthouse, or the flu, or any kind of illness. If they miss 1 day of testimony, they can no longer be the juror on that jury. One of the alternates would have to step in. And in this case, where the gentleman may have to go back to work, they're probably going to have to pull one of those alternates in. So I really believe that they are really setting a foundation. This has been, the stuff in this case has been pretty overwhelming related to Alec Murdaugh. Very overwhelming, whether a few people in here agree with that or not. I can't be a juror either. I really can't, Amy M. They've pulled me in there, and I just, as much as I love the law, I don't want to decide the fate of the people. So when I go in there, I just tell them I can't be unbiased. It's the fastest ticket to get off the jury. It really is. And that's what I tell them. There's no way I can be unbiased in this case. And I never come back. So it's just not something I want to do. I know it's a duty. It's my duty. But in all fairness, I'm being truthful. I'm not going to be unbiased. If I hear something that just gets to me, I will be a very biased juror. I will probably be thinking they're guilty before they even have their closing arguments done. So that's just me. I don't think I could do it either. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. So, but anyways, guys, we're up at the top of the hour. I mean, we got about 20 or about 18 minutes left. And quite frankly, I'm exhausted today. We've really hit it hard this entire week. With the Alex Murdaugh trial, plus my county obligations and other things that were going on, like where I'm going to be Monday, that took several days to get worked out to make sure all the people were where they needed to be and everything like that. So it's just, I'm just truly exhausted. I still have to make time to go to my best friend's house today, but I have been up since like 2 o'clock this morning. So I'm kind of done for the morning. So I want to go have some breakfast. I want to relax and just start my Saturday off right. I hope we talked about some interesting information. I will tell you, if you want to learn about the whole data and cell tower thing, it's very, very interesting. I'm honest when I tell you, very interesting, very interesting. I believe it was right around the 5 hour and 10 mark, 5 hour and 15 minute mark. If you want to go to yesterday's live for the Alec Murdaugh trial, and it's about an hour long, but you can just kind of bounce around through that area. But it's right about the 5 hours, about 5 hours, and I want to say 15 or 20 minute mark, somewhere around there. And it's an FBI agent that, and I've already removed all the FBI agents. Did I remove all of their names? I did, because I knew he was done for the day and they were going to be bringing in a brand new witness. So I removed his name off of there. But anyways, he was an FBI agent. He just really went through the case and how these cell towers worked. He explains why they're in a triangle. He explains that those, how the functionings of it work. We learn new things. If there's a tree that's over 100 feet in the air, do you know that they will strap that tree with a cell tower? I didn't know that. I had no clue. But believe it or not, they do. You could be driving in the backwoods and have these big, huge trees and wonder why you're getting cell tower there. It's because there's most likely a cell tower in that tree. Seriously, I never knew that. Just learned that yesterday. So lots of stuff that was learned yesterday. But go back to that video, and if you're interested in all this techie stuff, if you're a nerd like me when it comes to true crime, this is stuff that we can utilize in future cases in figuring out that they're going to know what route this person took because of these cell towers. And how the RTT works, what RTT is and how RTT works. RTT for Verizon tells you how far away from that cell tower you are. So you have all these different things that we didn't even learn about until yesterday. But it was to me, it was educational. It's something that I cannot unlearn, and it's something I can utilize in the future. So yesterday, Alex Murdaugh, go back to around between 5 minutes and 5 hours and 5 hours and 30 minutes, somewhere in there, you'll hear him talking. He's going to have a ruler in his hand. He's going to be pointing down at a photo. You can't really see what he's talking about, but you can hear what he's talking about and learn how that applies with cell tower, cell coverage, and how the phones work and how they're able to trace that digital footprint. And it's very interesting. So I hope you guys go over there and take a look at that. Anyways, guys, don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, y'all be safe. Good day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.